Start the meeting for the April 6th MCSD meeting, a regular meeting. And we have lots of people in attendance here tonight. A bunch of, they only stay with 2 agenda items. That's okay. And anyone on Zoom?
Yeah.
No one on Zoom? Yeah. Okay.
Well, yeah, we have April.
April.
Hi, April. Hi, April.
Hello, everyone.
Where are you at, April?
I'm in San Francisco for a clerk conference.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Have you done any sightseeing?
Nope.
Is April going to do a roll call for us?
Yeah.
or-
Are you ready for that?
I think we're ready.
All right. Director Bender. Director Clark Peterson.
Present.
Director Mayo.
Present.
Director Orsini.
Present.
And President Couch.
Present. All right. Greg, did you want to do?
Oh, absolutely. I would. Ready? Salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Notice how I did it? I did it in the proper cadence. I didn't have all the
Good.
pauses.
Proud of you, Greg. I'm proud of you.
And we all followed. It was.
You're through one up.
All right, let's see. Additions to the agenda. Items that may be added to the agenda in accordance with section 5494(2) of the Government Code, Brown Act, upon a determination by 2/3 of the members of the legislative body present at the time of the meeting, or if less than 2/3 of the members are present, a unanimous vote of those members present, that there is need to take immediate action, and that the need for action came to the attention of the McKinleyville Community Service District after the agenda was posted. Do we have any?
We have no additions to the agenda.
No additions to the agenda. Get a motion to approve the agenda?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Director Bender.
Aye.
Director Clark Peterson.
Aye.
Director Mayo.
Yes.
Director Orsini.
Yes.
And President Couch.
Yes. All right, A5 is closed session discussion. I'm going to skip ahead and just go to the no closed session schedule tonight. Public hearings. Skip ahead to the no public hearings scheduled tonight. So public comment and written communications. Any person may address the board at this time upon any subject not identified on this agenda, but within the jurisdiction of the McKinleyville Community Service District. However, any matter that requires action will be referred to staff for report of action at a subsequent committee or board meeting. As to matters on the agenda, an opportunity will be given to address the board when the matter is considered. Comments are limited to 3 minutes. Letters should be used for more complex issues. So opening it up for public comment. None, nobody on Zoom. We'll move to the consent calendar. Consent calendar items are accepted routine and non-controversial to be acted upon by the board of directors at one time without discussion. If any board member, staff member, or interested person requests that an item be removed from the consent calendar, it shall be removed so that it may be acted upon separately. So do we have anyone who wants to pull anything from the consent calendar?
Seeing none, I'll move to approve the consent calendar.
Second. Thank you.
Director Bender.
Aye.
Director Clark Peterson.
Aye.
Director Mayo. Director Orsini.
Yes.
And President Couch.
Yes. Right, we are to item E, continued and new business. E1 is introduction and welcome of Nicole Alvarado. Is that right?
Right.
Okay, good. New district finance director. And we have an attachment of Nicole Alvarado's resume, and Pat's gonna introduce her.
Thank you, President. So after an extensive recruitment effort starting about this time last year, the district was fortunate to locate, interview, and offer a position to Nicole Alvarado as the new finance director to replace Colleen Trask upon her retirement in July of this year. Mrs. Alvarado's letter of interest and resume are included as attachments to this staff note. Ms. Alvarado received her BA in communications from HSU, a master's in public administration, and a BBA in business administration from Wichita State University. She has worked as the budget analyst for the city of Derby, Kansas, and the finance director and treasurer for the city of Keachie, Kansas. She has also worked as an auditor for both Adams Brown and Allen and Gibbs and Hulig CPAs. She comes with impeccable references, and we are very happy and privileged to have her as part of the team.
Welcome.
Yeah, welcome. Would you like to say anything, or we won't put you on too much on this?
I just want to thank Pat and the selection committee for giving me this opportunity. I'm really honored to be here, and I'm looking forward to working with the district to help you all achieve your long-term goals.
Welcome.
Yeah, thank you.
Just
Prepare your song?
ground running.
What's that?
Good.
Did you prepare your song?
I don't have a song.
You didn't tell her she had to bring ice cream either, James.
You get to the Christmas party.
Okay. Sounds good.
You can always just have James sing.
I don't think we're authorizing any Christmas parties. Can't bring me a piece of pizza to be good.
Right. Colleen, you don't want to say anything? Saw you smiling pretty hard.
It's because she's a short timer.
Now, don't steal my thunder there, right? No, I'm just, really pleased to have, such a competent and professional and very qualified person to come in and take over. It's good. I feel like I'm leaving the district in good hands. So it's gonna go really well. I think you guys are gonna will have our own impact on the district, just as I have in this last decade, and it'll be a very, very positive one.
Well, thank you. Okay, I bet you this next item is popular. So this next item, E2, consider adoption of resolution 2022-09, recognizing, honoring, and commending Joseph Blaine for 10 years of service. Colleen, yeah.
Joseph Blaine, I know we had Joey
Joseph
Blaine.
Blaine. Well, you know, that's what it says here. I have to.
It's hard to believe it's been that.
Yeah, it's a little scary. It really has been that long.
He did, wasn't even shaving when he started.
Staff recommends that the board of directors consider adoption of resolution 2022-09, honoring Joey for his 10 continuous years of service in the Kinleyville Community Services District. The resolution is attached, recognizing, honoring, and commending Joseph Blaine for his 10 continuous years of service. Please join us in presenting Joe's resolution and the longevity award, acknowledging his continuing outstanding contributions to the district. Are we ready for the resolution?
Subject to, oh, you want to read the resolution first? Or do a motion?
Wouldn't want you guys to approve a resolution that hasn't actually been read.
Well,
Okay, go ahead.
That wouldn't be great.
Read it. Then we'll all.
No, he's not weigh in.
That's
Whereas Joseph Blaine, having faithfully served 10 continuous years as an employee of the McKinleyville Community Services District from April 9th, 2012 to April 9th, 2022, well, we're almost there. And whereas throughout his years of service, Joey has demonstrated unwavering loyalty, commitment, and dedication. Whereas Joseph lends his talents and experiences to the district, first as customer service rep and now as a customer service specialist, mastering the complex knowledge required to be of maximum service to each customer, assisting them with patience and courtesy to resolve all manner of issues and problems, and dedicated to the goal of having the district's customers look forward to coming to pay the water bill. And whereas Joseph has shown great willingness and initiative in supporting his colleagues, supervisors, the general manager, and board with his technical skills, rising to the challenge of facilitating online and hybrid board meetings during the pandemic, and working with the district's IT service team to keep the district's customer and accounting systems integrated and running smoothly. And whereas Joseph has actively sought professional growth, welcoming learning opportunities in order to expand his ability to serve the district, taking on additional responsibilities in accounts payable, improving those processes, and making effective decisions. Whereas Joseph's loyalty to the district, unwavering commitment to customers and coworkers, and trustworthiness in all matters truly makes him a valuable asset to the district and to the community of McKinleyville. Now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Directors of the McKinleyville Community Services District is hereby confer on Joseph Blaine its highest commendation for the dedicated service he has performed for the district and the community, and further marks his historic accomplishment as a McKinleyville Community Services District employee for 10 years.
So subject to board and community comment, I'd like to move the adoption resolution 2022-09, recognizing, honoring, and commending Joseph Blaine for his 10 years of service to the district.
Second that.
So now we can have the board. Anyone else want to? Board, or should we just?
Well, comments.
Comments.
I'll just say, Joey, if nobody realizes that what you do is just like breathing air. If you can keep me lined up on this computer stuff, which you do, I mean, do anything.
He deserves an award just for that.
You deserve an award for that, bro.
Yeah, so it seems like we were just talking about you because you got Employee of the Year award not too long ago. So I would just like to reiterate some of the things that I said during that period of time, knowing Joey as well as I do, and in experiencing Joey's growth at the district and him working right outside my office door. I noticed right away that Joey's has a great mentor. Dave happens to be here, and I think there were a lot of things that Joey saw Dave do and wanted to be that good or even better than that, and he's done a great job. I know that he probably knows just about everybody that lives in McKinleyville that comes in and pays their bill by their first name, and I know that was one of the things that he really wanted to do. So that kind of gives you an idea of Joey's what his idea of what customer service is all about. So, and I know that I've heard him deal with difficult customers on the phone and having to field angry people, and it never loses cool. And that's a gift all on its own to be able to deal with people when they're giving you so much hate. So good job with that. And then also just how enthusiastically you take on new projects, and how you like to be challenged and things like that. So I just want to give you kudos for what you bring to McKinleyville Community Services District. Thank you, Joey.
I don't know you well, but what I have experienced from you is pretty good to see. You wear a lot of different hats around here. Customer service, our IT guy here. You have called me by my first name when I phoned in my payment form, and I do appreciate that.
They have caller ID.
Yeah. The other guys do it then. If you do your half of repairing Director Mayo's computer, I'll keep up on my half of it and he'll be put together.
I need you both.
Thank you.
I'd say if anyone here or in the public hasn't read Joey's feature and Meet the NCSD in the Mad River Union, that's kind of a fun thing to get to know Joey even more. And yes, he's a swell guy. I loved reading about you in that Q&A.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I just want to say thanks. I mean, I think my wife probably comes and deals with you more than I do. But she would say thanks too. And got some staff comments.
I just want to say the remarkable thing about Joey is that he has a light to him. So as public servants, we often deal with like the unpleasantness of the public. And my experience with Joey is that you never see that get him down. He's always got a lightness to him and carries himself with a positive attitude. And it is admirable. I really wish I could like have someone like him. Thank you, Joey. Good example.
Thank you.
I will say it's a little weird reading that resolution to Joseph, because you Joey. And I will also say that it really does seem a long time, but it really hasn't been that long. I mean, although I have to admit, the first 2 years, it was really fun sending you every baby kangaroo meme I could find. And it's also nice having somebody who doesn't like laugh at my Star Wars lunch bag.
I'm here for it.
Privilege and pleasure for working with you. And Dave has got, he's got comments burning up in his papers.
I thought James might want to go since they kind of supported.
Love you too, James.
I didn't get the memo, or I'd wear plaid too. I usually do.
So let's start. We have 2 minutes and 55 seconds. Anyways, on behalf of the support services team that you work with, we do appreciate you, Joe. 10 years has gone by fairly quick. Fortunately, you didn't have stuff on your nose when you started, even though you described yourself that way. Might have had it on your shoulder for somebody. That's right. As has been mentioned, Joe's attitude is really infectious. It's positive. People on the call, and they're going to get a happy place. So we appreciate that about him. Is getting willingness to take on more duties as assigned. Needs to get done. Joe said, okay. And so congratulations on making it for 10 years and keep, 20 years on. We're gonna be good. You're already good. You just need to.
I just wanted to point out, to anybody who didn't notice, that man has a marvelous T-shirt on.
Oh, it's never been.
Okay.
President Couch.
Thank you.
What amazes me about Joey is he always says yes. He always says yes with a smile on his face. You ask him if he can take care of Director Mayo's computer, and he says yes. You ask him if he can set up his hybrid system, and he says yes. Anything he asks, he'll say yes. Thank you, Joey, very much for that. Positive attitude.
Okay,
Well, how about, do we want to, I'm sure there's more people.
I think more people, maybe.
I know Kyle will have something to say.
I saw working out in the field, knowing that I had someone that I could call in, get information out of the office. Joey as well as everybody else in the office. And along with what Leslie said about Joey's FP personality. Always knowing that you have someone to call and get information from is just be a better worker and makes everyone a better worker and positive attitude. The best reaction, happy all the time.
Anyone else?
Do a roll call vote.
Yes. We do need to do a roll call, please.
All right, Director Bender?
Aye.
Oh, wait, did we do a?
Yes.
Did we do a
Yes.
motion?
Yes, I
Okay.
have a motion and a second. Director Clark Peterson?
Aye.
Director Mayo?
Yes.
Director Orsini?
Yes.
And President Couch?
Yes.
Want to take a photo?
Yes, we definitely want a group photo.
Oh, you gotta get in your first photo. Yep, yep.
Got some screws loose?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. I hope your chair doesn't fall.
Just your big arms. Just your big arms, right?
Looking at me, on 1, 2, 3. No.
Okay, thank you.
Action sequence, you got it. I know.
That'd be not me.
Notice he had the mic turned up ultra sensitive because he could hear people talking good about it.
Ask all you want. This is a government seat, ain't mine.
Got bored of it.
All right, well, we'll continue on here without. For a minute. So item E3.
The government seat,
is
it
a-
ain't mine.
Consider adoption of resolution 2022-08, recognizing, honoring, and commending Colleen Trask for 10 years of service as district finance director. Patrick.
I'm just gonna jump right in and read resolution 2022-08, a resolution recognizing, honoring, commending Colleen Trask for serving McKinleyville Community Services District for 10 continuous years. Whereas Colleen Trask, having faithfully served 10 continuous years as an employee of McKinleyville Community Services District from April 2nd, 2012 to April 2nd, 2022. And whereas throughout her years of service, Colleen has demonstrated financial leadership and expertise, commitment and dedication. And whereas Colleen provides her talents and experience to the district to lead the district finance and customer relations department. And whereas Colleen has played a starring role in ensuring that the financial foundation of the district is exceptionally firm and has worked with numerous district boards, department managers, general managers, and district staff to ensure budgets are balanced, rates are fair, and operational expenses are covered. And whereas Colleen has shown great leadership, creativity, and support in helping her staff, colleagues, supervisors, the general manager, and the board with her technical and leadership skills to ensure that the district's customer and accounting systems run smoothly and support the district's strategic vision. And whereas Colleen's loyalty to the district, unwavering commitment to the customers, staff, and coworkers, and trustworthiness in all matters truly makes her a valuable asset to the district and to the community of McKinneyville. Now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Directors of McKinneyville Community Services District does hereby confer upon Colleen Trask its highest commendation for dedicated service she has performed for the district and the community, and further marks this historic accomplishment as McKinney-Ville Community Schools District Finance Director for 10 years.
All right, discussion. So the board want to jump in and then we'll take it to the public. Or do we have staff? We had our staff report.
Well, let me make a motion to adopt resolution
Okay.
2022-08, recognizing, honoring and commending Colleen Trask for her 10 years of service to the district. Of course, subject to board and public comment.
I'll second that.
I'll go ahead and start by saying thank you. You know, we've relied on you for lots and lots of stuff, and your guidance has been immeasurable. It's hard, you know, and I wish you the very best in your future endeavors.
Hi, Colin. So having worked with multiple finance directors, all of them having good and bad and mediocre points. I think that one of the things I appreciate the most about Colleen is her acumen and sense when it comes to money. We aligned very well when it came to making sure that we had cash flow in the right position and that we were putting money away when we were supposed to. And I think that one of the stars that Colleen can put in her cap is just how well that last bond issue happened, and the fact that we got a AA- rating, which should have been unheard of. I don't think anybody that was our underwriters even thought that was going to happen because of outside the district extenuating circumstances related to our community and the size of our customer base and things like that, but we still pulled it off. So thank you very much. That should definitely be a feather that you always have in your cap and be very proud of. Other than that, I always liked Colleen being able to be frank with me and always coming to me and always telling me not what I wanted to hear, but what she thought was important for the district and what was important for our business. And that I very always appreciated, because not everybody has the courage to come to their boss and tell them things that they whether they would think they want to hear them or not, to be able to say those things. So thank you very much for that. And also somebody that I could trust to talk to was very important to me too. So thank you very much for everything that you've done for the district, and we're definitely going to miss you. So I know you're not going anywhere yet, but this is just your 10-year anniversary. But anyway, thank you very much.
Jess, what was the lady's name who retired from the board?
Jill Barsante?
No, before her.
Helen.
Oh, Helen Edwards.
Helen Edwards. I remember when we hired Colleen, I think Helen was on the search committee, and I just remember how happy she was when we hired you.
Yeah, thanks to Helen, because we wouldn't have known about you if it wasn't for Helen.
Yeah.
No.
So that was 10 years ago. Wow. Anyway,
It's amazing that goes so fast.
Well, I wouldn't have known about the district either, except Helen knew me from my teaching experience at College of Redwoods, and you know, she called me up and she's like, you know, we need a finance director. Yeah, but I like where I'm working. And she said, oh, just put your resume in. I was like, okay. And then I sat down with Norman, and then I got to talk to Sharon, and I got to talk to Greg, and I realized that, you know, the district really did need some financial assistance in a way, and they needed my expertise, and it was a good move. It turned out to be a good win. And honestly, if you have to give up a decade of your life to a particular service, I would say serving this district and this community was a really, really good way to give this decade. I mean, it took me a long time to acquire the qualifications and skills to do what I do, and that's great. But some of it's about where you expend those skills and where you put those skills. And it's good to put them in a meaningful place and doing meaningful things. You know, people don't really realize that the greatest advancements in public health generally have nothing to do with doctors and hospitals. The greatest advancements in public health have to do with water and wastewater.
Yep.
That's it. You guys don't get credit for saving lives, but you should.
Yep.
Because you do. And no finance director is better than the people that she gets to work with. And I have been very privileged to work with some really sterling people. But I really appreciate it. We had an absolute meeting of minds on what was most important for the district financially, and that has carried us and the district as a whole and the community into places that we would never have otherwise been able to go. And that's going to be a lot, and that has a lasting impact. And it's really important. I've been very, very blessed to be here. So thank you guys. Incredibly, thank you.
Yeah, you made a thought jump into my head, and I wanted to, this is for Nicole. I knew this before I was on the board. I've been on the board quite a long time, and proved the whole time I've been here, but I watched this when I was just a citizen and helped to raise funds and do stuff. And this district has had the remarkable blessing of finding the right people at the right time. And it's not just luck either. It's that the district runs itself well. That's a great draw to get the right people to come. But nonetheless, we have gotten the right people at the right, and as that progression has went along, the skill set and stuff has been different at times that we needed. And that's, you reminded me of that. You were absolutely right. Helen was absolutely right. Yeah. So anyway, thank you again.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yep, and I'm going to jump in actually before Dave, because that Dennis's comments lead right into what I was going to say, which is that, you know, one of the only reasons I took this job was because I knew the district was on such good financial position. And that is largely because of you, Colleen. So thank you very much for that. And thank you for leading me here too, like Dennis said. And thank you for all your patience and everything and showing me all your spreadsheets and the formulas.
Maybe more than you ever really wanted to know.
Yes. So, thanks for teaching Nicole, so I don't have to really know how to.
Hi, Colleen.
Hey, Dave.
Congratulations. Around 10 years. Really, know we can count on you because you count price.
That was funny, Dave.
Blue Lake's got an open mic.
Did you have a fallback though? Did you have a fallback in case somebody used it, Dave?
I wouldn't come up with something. Again, as the leader of the support staff, we appreciate that you guidance and assistance, you know, point us in the right direction and give us an edge when we need it. And tell us that we're doing a good job when we're doing a good job, if we're not doing a good job. I mean, Joey here, that'd be here. Anyways, congratulations on 10 years and 3 months or so.
Thanks, Dave. Thanks, Dave.
Anyone else? Are we?
I would like to say thank you for the treats. You and Joey.
Shall we wait for the roll call till Dennis gets back?
Sure, you want to do a picture without
Sure.
Dennis in it?
We might wait too long if we don't.
We should really wait for Dennis for the picture.
You have good taste. Clean picked out her own gift.
What's a good way to get what you want?
Here.
Good job.
I wouldn't want, which is more common, so, but anyway, let's talk.
Get that one.
Did everybody, oh, you got one?
Yeah. Thanks, Steve. Right. What a boss.
Oh, Lord.
We need to do what? Gotta go to the bathroom.
Again? Oh, he never came back? Or he hasn't been back since.
Nope.
I thought he was back there. So I saw somebody with their fingers.
Looking for the pizza.
Somebody else fill in the traditional role of Dennis there.
Well, told there was pizza outside.
So anyway, I noticed when we were standing up, you have big shoes you were wearing there. Big shoes to fill.
Yeah, Colleen, just another thing to kind of fill it in until Dennis gets back is Colleen made a very good point about the culture of MCSD and how it encourages people to give their best and it attracts good people to work at MCSD. I think that's very important. And once you kind of get there and get accustomed to that, it's hard to leave. Before I started working for the district, I don't think I was stuck in the Navy for 4 years, but other than that, I don't think I've worked since I was like 12 years old, and I've never worked anywhere for more than 4 years. And that was when I was in the Navy, and I made it 30 years working for MCSD. So that must say something about what a great place MCSD is to work. So.
Okay, for Dennis's.
Now we're ready. Unless you have any more comments, or we
Yeah.
can do the roll call vote after your comments.
Yes.
Yes.
Are we ready?
Yes.
Director Bender,
Aye.
Director Clark Peterson, Director Mayo,
Thank you for waiting. Yes.
Director Orsini,
Yes.
and President Couch.
Yes.
Thanks, everybody.
John.
All right, E5, our next agenda item is, E4. Ooh, I'm jumping over something. Everybody.
Yeah, I'm sure you would have heard about that one.
There were knives coming out there.
I'm sure you would have heard about that.
That's why everybody's still here. Employee negotiations regarding proposed 3-year compensation contract with district employees, action attachment, memo from negotiations committee to the board. And let's see, that's Pat Dennis and I.
Yes. Coach Mayo and Kaspari.
Gonna jump in and read the
Sure.
staff notes, or-
Yeah,
Okay.
yes, please.
It has been a tradition of MCSD since the 1990s for staff to negotiate with the MCSD Board of Directors for their benefit package. The board appointed a negotiating committee consisting of President David Couch and Director Dennis Mayo. The board committee met with MCSD employee negotiating committee consisting of Kirsten Mesmer, Eric Jones, and David Baldassar to discuss the current employee compensation package expiring on June 30th, 2022. Historically, the board and staff considered components of the compensation package, including one, the general benefit package in terms of holidays, vacations, sick time, life, medical, and dental insurance, in addition to other current general employee benefits. Two, longevity pay, which consists of a 2.5% salary increase at 10, 15 years of service, calculated based on full-time employment working 40 hours per week. Three, cost of living allowance, the COLA, which historically has been calculated as an annual average of the two indices that the board and the employees have used for the last 15 years. Suppose that we continue to use the same indices consisting of the West Size Class BC and the San Francisco, Oakland, San Jose, California. Number four, the district matches the employee contribution to the PERS 457 plan deferred compensation up to a certain percentage, currently at 4%. This benefit has proven beneficial in promoting the employees to participate in their retirement savings and deferring pre-tax dollars. 5, state disability insurance, SDI. In 2012, MCSD shifted from self-insured to the state of California system. Currently, MCSD covers 100% of this cost of 1% of total payroll. Through a series of discussions and correspondence with all the employees, the general manager, and the finance director, the MCSD Employee Negotiating Committee presented a request memo to the Board Negotiating Committee, which is included as attachment 1 in your board packet. The finance director quantified the financial impact of the proposed conditions as they appear in attachment 1. After a closed session discussion with the rest of the board at the March 2nd regular board meeting, the Board Negotiating Committee and the Employee Negotiating Committee met again to consider a counteroffer from the board. During this discussion, the employees stated that they were willing to accept just the change in calculation of the COLA, utilizing the December to December CPI and an 8.3% COLA. This offer was discussed with the board in closed session at the March 15th special board meeting and approved as outlined under staff recommendations to take to the full board for approval in open session at the April 6th regularly scheduled board meeting. Staff recommends the board review the information presented, discuss, take public comment, and consider approval of a 3-year term agreement with employees as follows. 1, maintain the current benefit package in terms of holidays, vacation, sick time, life insurance, medical insurance, 457 match, employee assistance program, state disability insurance, and dental insurance, in addition to other current general employee benefits. The COLA calculation will be changed to utilize the December Consumer Price Index for year-to-year, as opposed to the annual average. We'll continue to utilize the average of the West Size Class BC, the San Francisco, Oakland, San Jose, California, but we'll use December to December. The December to December indices would continue to be used for the duration of the 3-year agreement. Approve this year's COLA increase of 8.3%. And this agreement will be in effect for 3 fiscal years, 2022-23, 23-24, and 24-25, with the following stipulation. Due to the unpredictability of healthcare insurance, PERS employer contribution, inflation pressures, and other associated expenses, MCSD board or staff reserve the right to, at any time, request negotiations to be reopened to discuss any and or all of the elements of the MCSD employee wage and benefit.
Board. Discussion, motion.
Well, with the negotiating committee, since you guys did the vast majority of the hard work, you guys have anything that you want to say?
I think that this is something that makes sense and was necessary for our employees. And we came at it from somewhat different perspectives at times in our negotiation. And I think it ended up being fair, and I support it. And so,
Yeah, I would agree with Dennis. I thought it was fair. We had some good meetings, good discussion, a little bit of give and take on both sides. And, you know, we try to honor the employees, and, you know, you guys want to take care of you, so. But we haven't had any super budget crunchers get elected to the board who want to give employees raises.
right, I think it's, I need to say that the different positions that we came at this had to do with financial stability of the district and the ability to make those payments and to maintain what is very important for the community and the district and the infrastructure. And you, I consider you all infrastructure, not to demean that, but I think you know what I mean by that. You're a very important part of the infrastructure. I say all that to tell you, and I pray, I seriously do pray every night that our world is not going into a position where we will not be able to make any more adjustments for a while. It's looking like interest rates might be jumping up 2.5% quite quickly. The world is teetering on a world war, and those kind of things, if they occur, we all are going to have to take a hit of a lot of things. So I don't want to be a Paul on the decision that we made or stuff, but I think it's important for the public listening and everybody to understand that the position that we all have here is a lot more involved than just negotiating the contract. That's an integral part of it, but it's much more involved than that. So I hope I didn't bore you with that.
Great. Anyone else have?
I was just going to say that my main concern here was the retention and building of the institutional knowledge that's here. You know, in the long term, it would be better financially for us to make sure that you guys are happy. You guys don't move off or have somebody else coach you. You know, than it is to see that happen. We see this happening with the sheriff's office and with them around. You know, I'm super happy with you guys. I want to make you guys happy. We want to make it fair to everybody, to the board here, to the community, the ratepayers and everything, and for the newer employees to build that institutional knowledge so that you all can train who comes after you.
Yeah, I'd just like to thank our staff, all of you, all the positive things we've been saying about the district kind of all filters up from the bottom with you guys. So thank you all very much. And I thought that this is worth the investment in our crew. So hopefully that, oh, somebody's got something to say. Anyway, I just want to reiterate what's been said already. Thank you very much for what you do for the district. I hope that this shows our good faith in our employee base, and hopefully we can continue on with this the way we've laid it out here for the next 3 years. God forbid anything crazy happening, as Dennis referred to. Other than that, I had one question that I sort of wanted to ask, not to put you guys on. Oh, and another thing too, thank you very much for taking the time and coming and showing us how important this was to you. I very much appreciate the fact that you took time out of your busy schedules to come and maybe that was just watching something on TV tonight. But anyway, thank you very much for coming and showing your face here and showing us the support for how important this was for you guys. So thank you all very much. And one question I want to, and I don't think anybody really knows I'm going to ask this question, but I'm going to ask you of the people that are here, and that's related to the process. Are you guys all happy with the way the process is set up now, to where you have your negotiators and you and you communicate to them, and then they communicate, then they negotiate with the board, and then we kind of go back and talk, and then we get back together and things like that. Are you all happy with the way that works?
I was happy with it. It's not our negotiator.
I think we, personally, just one person's opinion, this is how I've been here for almost 20 years now. And this seems to how it's proceeded throughout that 20 years. And I think it works pretty well. I think the crew would be, I'm guessing, would be open to other, different methods of doing this, if there's one that's suggested. But yeah, I personally, I'm happy with how we've been doing it over the years.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that one of the things that, and not to go through the chair, is that there's been some times when it's been very contentious before. The negotiations have been contentious, and I just want to comment. I just want to comment on David and Dennis on keeping a good decorum and not letting their concerns about financial things interfere with making sure that everything was balanced and fair for the committee. So I just want to bring that up too. So thanks, guys, because it's gotten pretty messy before, but.
Feel good? Anyone from you guys want to say anything, or we?
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. So let's see. We have a.
Oh, of course, Kyle's got it.
Thank you, guys. I know you guys have a lot bigger picture than what I see out in the field that you guys have to look at. I appreciate you guys considering us as part of the infrastructure, as part of we're a big part of the district. I appreciate you guys seeing that. And I think everybody, I can speak for everyone, I think appreciates recognize it.
I think Dennis would have probably, if the word would have come to him, he probably would have said a resource as opposed to.
Well, both. I just, if you prompted me just on one thing, somebody that I love dearly, Grant Ramey, used to bring blueberries. And he always said, blueberries will make things go a lot smoother. And by God, he did. Am I right, Dave? That's right.
I think you meant that in more than one way. Probably.
Well, I know, but bring them blueberries. My God.
You guys don't know what happened to Zephyr. She wanted snacks brought in as part of the negotiation committee.
So is that yeah, except for she'd have been the only one that wanted dog bones, right?
Yeah,
I like a good dog bone.
Yeah.
Anyway, I just wanted to add my thanks what Kyle already presented to you. I know this a lot of years these negotiations are pretty cut and dried. This one was a little bit just because of the number that was thrown out, I think, and financial times that we're all, the whole community, the whole world's going through. Was a little bit more difficult than we've had in the past. I want to add my thanks to what Greg just said about you being patient with us and listening to what we had to say. I know it wasn't a real easy thing to work through this time around, but I think with everybody listening to one another and working together, I think we came up with something that's fair to the employees, fair to the district, fair to the ratepayers. And like I said before, it has to be fair to everyone, it just won't work. This is a great place to work, as Greg said. board members at all are a big part of that. Decisions you make affect us directly. And we all know that, and we all appreciate that. We appreciate the work that you do to keep this district where we're at. It all starts really, it starts at the bottom, it starts at the top as well. The decisions you make are very, very important. So thank you very much for the work. Smart staff representative. We do appreciate the time and effort that the board puts into this process as well. When you've got five, you've got a lot of different opinions. And we just, as a representative for the group, we do our best to, get things narrowed down to what's important to present to you, and the fact that you take it into consideration and come back with nice talk to you. Appreciate the work you put into it. Thank you very much.
Does Zephyr have something she wants to say now?
She got it out.
She got it out.
She didn't leave it on the floor, did she?
I'll add to that a little bit.
We don't want to hear that.
Okay, that's it.
No, I want to hear what nothing more to add, thank you.
Nothing further to say. And a song, so. No, I lost my train of thought.
Yeah, but that wasn't a song.
Director Bender brought up a good point, which just unfortunately happened to us again. So yeah, the COLA, everything's important. It shows appreciation, but it also keeps employees in the district, especially good employees. It's important to me that we keep everybody, especially who I'm responsible for at the district, and keep wages fair. We did lose one just last week to poaching, so this percentage is important to me just because it does help for the poaching. So I want to say thank you, and then I have nothing further to say.
Well, I just gonna say, Dennis said you're part of the infrastructure, I think, but I think of you guys as a team, and what a great team we have, and I really appreciate that. I was gonna say, just a couple of days ago, I was talking to somebody down at my work, and I was talking about the upcoming board. You guys really have it together, so I just thought I'd share that with you. That's how we think of you outside the district. So.
Absolutely.
So now, are we ready for the roll call votes? Motion. When you got motion, okay.
I'll enthusiastically move per staff recommendation.
I'll enthusiastically second it.
Okay, Director Bender,
Aye.
Director Clark Peterson,
Yes.
Director Mayo,
I don't know what an enthusiastically is, but I will enthusiastically say yes.
Director Orsini,
Aye.
and President Couch.
Yes. You're sitting next to me.
Hopefully the minutes will reflect that I said enthusiastically instead of.
All right, our next item is E5. Consider reading and adoption of ordinance 2020. And amending, and well, I'll stop for a moment here. They all know. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Bye, guys.
Like, wait, somebody stay with me.
We're still here.
Even Zephyr.
So, Nicole,
Like, no cupcakes,
so you
come out.
know, but we can't have some fun here. We ain't gonna be here. You might have figured that out already. Because when we start giving it to you, it's gonna be in the same good nature of us too.
Okay, sounds good.
We are not a.
We'll get it.
Start over. Item E5, consider reading and adoption of ordinance 2021, amending regulation 68, latent powers of Article 6, general provisions and the NCSD rules and regulations to include law enforcement collaboration. April.
All right, so this is our second reading of this ordinance. We did do a first reading back on March 2nd. Just a reminder, this is the last item on the list of all the different items that we had for our latent powers committee. And so staff drafted this ordinance, legal counsel reviewed it and revised it. The ordinance has been written to clearly state that the district is not exercising any latent power, but instead finds and determines that it is in the district's interest to continue to facilitate Humboldt County Sheriff Office's provision of law enforcement services and lease or make available district facilities to the sheriff office. So staff recommends that the board review the provided materials, discuss, take public comment, and conduct a second reading and adoption of ordinance number 2022-01, amending regulation 68 by title only.
Subject to board discussion and public comment, I want to move adoption of ordinance number 2022-01, attachment 1, amendment regulation, amending regulation 68 by title only.
Second.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Can we discuss this? Anyone?
Yeah, just one real quick thing. Thanks a lot to past board member John Corbett for bringing these issues to the forefront and helping us clean up our latent powers. Anyways, so just thank him very much for having the forethought to do that, and I'm glad that we're done with this, and I think that it would be a good time to dissolve the latent powers committee too.
So I think that's a good idea, but we'll have to put that on another agenda, because that's not part of our deal, but we could put that on another agenda to
No, I think it's the president's prerogative.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
And if past director Corbett is listening, you haven't called me yet, we've got an MPA meeting to go to soon.
Okay. Well, the president will allow that motion. My prerogative. Sounded good to me. Okay. Nothing to say there. Okay, are we all talked out on this one?
I've heard that before.
No, wait.
We don't have a motion.
Still don't have a motion in a second.
I thought.
Oh, no, you did.
You did.
That's right. Yeah, you guys.
Dennis
did.
voted.
Dennis,
Yeah,
yeah,
you seconded.
Are you ready?
Yes.
All right, Director Bender,
Yes.
Director Clark Peterson, Director Mayo, Director Orsini,
C.
and President Couch.
Yes. All right, item E6, review parks and general fund draft operating budget fiscal year 2022-23. Pauline is in charge.
Here we go. All right, first, staff recommends that the board review, take public comment, discuss the draft operating budget for the parks, general fund and measure B fund. As always, the budget's developed on current cost trends and best guesstimates. Estimates for property tax and Measure B revenue are based on the current year's remittance to date and on prior trends. Capital information from the capital improvements draft budget previously presented to the board has been modified and incorporated into this draft budget. The expected revenue for programs of facility rentals for the coming fiscal year is estimated at significantly higher than the current budget. Gray, assuming further easing of the various restrictions and restriction orders from the county health department of the state. The major change in revenue, however, if you guys are looking at the graph, is that expected grants for capital projects. That's huge. Most of that is the grant to build the BMX track, but there are also grants for the skate park, related ADA upgrades at Pearson Park, along with a Prop 68 grant for some significant improvements for Azalea Hall. Without those grants, total expected operating revenue is $1,235,799. This is about 80,000 more than budgeted in the current fiscal year. And then the $1,155,216 is the current fiscal year's revenue without the capital project grants included in that. And the majority of that difference is based on the higher ad valorem property tax revenue that's expected this year. For the purposes of this graph,
If we get it.
actually, they did. They did actually, I checked back with the county and they have posted December and I trued up. It was actually above the estimate that I posted when I processed the December treasurer's report. So yes, it may be a little, it may be a little off time, but it's coming and it's good.
Right.
So
Cool.
yeah, good news on that front for sure. So for the purposes of this graph, salary and benefit costs are based on the expected outcome of the current round of employee negotiations. So the numbers you see there are what the board has approved tonight. So yay, that won't need to be changed either. Any changes in the final negotiated package would have been incorporated into the final draft that I'll bring you guys in June. And there may be some other changes that happen just in terms of the district's legal and operating environment. And maybe you guys have more current information on this than I do. AB 1993, which is at this in the legislature in Sacramento right now, we require all employees, including independent contractors, to provide proof of COVID-19 vaccination to work in California, period. SB 871.
It's stuck in committee.
Okay.
It's not going to come out of committee.
Okay, good to know. And that's exactly why I bring these things before. SB 871 would require all children 0 to 17 to receive the vaccine to attend school or childcare, which might impact our programs as we are getting those back online. SB 1464 would require police enforcement of all public health orders. If anything looks like it's going to pass before we get the final draft budget, I will do my best to incorporate the impact into the final surface here. Hopefully most of this stuff will stay stuck in committee for a while. And the study on the feasibility of adjusting Measure B is currently underway. It is likely to be split between the current fiscal year and 22-23, the cost of the study, just the cost of doing the study. So it's incorporated, half of what the expected cost is included in that Measure B other expenditures budget line.
Okay.
That's why it looks a little bit large. The future acquisition of the community forest property and the total lack of funding for associated maintenance and operating costs makes that project a priority. So, and Leslie did a fantastic job of getting that budget balance within whisker, and hopefully we'll come back in June. It will still be in very, very good shape.
I don't have anything further to add, but if you got questions, I'll do my best to answer.
Yeah, a couple questions.
You?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
So the outlays for grants and Quimby fees, grants and loans, is that's predicated on what the project's going to do, what our expenditures are going to be for the fiscal year. It's not the total cost of the project, correct?
So the grant funding like the funding looks into the state park, like we have, that's a pending application, we haven't been awarded, so that may or may not even happen.
Right.
There's funding allocated to the BMX tracking park. We've been awarded that grant, we have a contract, so that is what we budgeted for this next fiscal year, is about half of the grant amount.
Half the grant,
Yeah,
because we're cash based, so we're,
right, it's a reimbursement
yeah,
based grant, and so we expect to spend half of it in the next fiscal year.
okay.
And then the per capita grant is awarded. And so we'll spend that on Site Hall. That's almost $178,000.
That was the prop.
Prop 68, so
Prop
per
68,
capita.
but that was the per capita one.
Yeah, and so that's funded and that will get spent. So the only one that doesn't is not for sure is the state park.
Just the skate park. The only other comment I got is you guys are really optimistic thinking the county's gonna let you start even breaking ground on the skate park next year, but that's just, or not skate park, the BMX track next year. So, but anyway. I'm guessing it's probably gonna be.
He's predicting permanent.
Because I don't know that it's gonna, I bet you it's gonna take us 3 years to build the BMX track just to get through the county's permitting process. By the time we get done with construction and stuff.
Yeah, a week or two over that, we're going to, so we are going out for RFQ on that as we speak. We can spend some money on the design, have the design done, go out for bid for construction. You're right, probably the end of this calendar year. Probably won't get too much construction done before next fiscal year.
Yeah, just so you're not expecting there to be more happening than really happens in the first year.
Oh,
You okay?
I don't know what to expect. I just
Okay.
was like, where the hell did that come from? But
All
like,
right.
this is my first big project, so
Yeah, it'll be fun.
yeah. I don't know what I'm doing.
Yes, you do.
It's done. The community will love it.
Yes, they will.
I know I've got, not to get too far afield, but I've had a whole bunch of people just that don't live in McKinleyville that have heard about it, and they're really enthusiastic about it being built so they can come here and ride. So,
I'm super excited, not just for the track, but the playground.
yeah,
It'll be the only like Arcata has an all-inclusive playground down by Greenview Market, and otherwise there's no all-inclusive playgrounds, like playgrounds that are inviting and amenable to children with.
to all different
disabilities.
ages. Yeah,
And so it'll be really nice to have that kind of playground here in McKinleyville.
yeah, it will be. And it's in an area where it's needed too.
Okay,
And since the Santos subdivision, they lost their permits, it's gonna be a long time before they build that, before they build there's supposed to be a neighborhood one in that subdivision. And it's not gonna happen because they've lost their permits. They're gonna have to go over, start from scratch again on, Santos subdivision.
And all the financial projections are all kind of out the window right now as well too for everything, you know, et cetera.
But anyway, thanks. This is, I was pleasantly surprised and pleased when I saw how well you did, Leslie. Your ability to sharpen your pencil is, yeah. I can only imagine how much sleep you lose. I know how much you care about this and how much grief it used to give you when I was a general manager, so I can only imagine.
I have to say, I didn't cry this year.
You didn't cry this year?
I almost did, but I didn't. I kept it together.
Well, that's good. That's the first year when you didn't have to come to me.
I know, it's the first time. I haven't cried during the budget. Almost though.
Right on.
James?
well, any public comment? Any comment from the Zoom audience? Okay, we'll move on. Item E7, initiate processes for general manager's annual performance evaluation. April Souza, board secretary.
All right, so we've reached that time again. So as noted in the general manager employment agreement, the board shall review and evaluate the general manager's performance at least annually in advance of their anniversary date of the effective date of the general manager agreement. During an open public meeting, the board president will select one board member to consolidate all 5 board member evaluations. Once a member of the board has been selected, a schedule should be established. The suggested schedule is in bold below, which includes a date to complete and return sealed evaluations to the board secretary, which you all have received the blank evaluations in your binders. So don't forget to take those home with you if you still have them in your binders. The suggested date for that is April 15th. The date the appointed consolidator will retrieve the evaluations suggested is April 18th. Date for review, information to be returned to the board secretary for confidential distribution suggested April 25th. And a date for the closed session for the general manager performance evaluation would be May 1st as suggested. At tonight's meeting, the board secretary, I've already said that I've already provided you with your evaluations. An electronic version of the evaluation form is available if requested. So if you would like that, please let me know and I will get that to you. You can just email me. The board member selected to consolidate the evaluations will be notified by the board secretary that the evaluations by the board members are completed and ready to pick up. The evaluations will be consolidated by averaging each section and combining any written comments so that so there will be one evaluation from the board and one evaluation will also come from the department head. So that will also get to that person. To finish, at a properly noticed public meeting, the board will convene a closed session to review the consolidated evaluations with the general manager for the purpose of discussing the general manager's performance. So staff recommends that the board discuss, take public comment, and ask the board president to select one board member to consolidate all board member evaluations and to set the schedule.
Okay. Well, I haven't picked a victim yet. Who's anyone willing? You'll do it? Okay.
Well, actually,
Yeah.
I leave town the 22nd, but the date, I could turn them in on the 22nd.
Yeah.
On a
Oh, you
Friday,
could totally turn them in early.
right? If you,
If we get them to.
That would be unheard of, turning them in on time or early.
Yeah.
oh, good, I have one. Okay. So that would mean they've given to me by when again? The 18th?
The 15th, or sorry, the 15th is when I would need to get them. And the 18th would be when you would get them from me. So I will contact you by the 18th, if not before.
Okay. And then what do we do with the 2 we have now?
Oh, you can keep them because so just let me know who you have. So that I don't call them and ask them for it.
Have Dennis's.
Okay. And yours, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay.
And was I supposed to confirm the dates? Dates look good.
Okay, that works for me.
Okay. Our next item is E8. Consider adoption of resolution 2022-10 opposing initiative 21-0042A1. Guess Barry is.
I'm going to defer to Director Orsini on this one. This is the item he brought up at the last board meeting.
Yeah, no, I. So anyway, this, as we spoke about this before, this is on ballot initiative 2021 or 21-0042A1, and it's related to propositions. It'll have an effect on propositions 13, 218, and 26, among others. This is basically restrict the ability of local governments to issue fines, penalties, and to incorporate property owners to violate local environmental. I'm sorry. Hold on. Okay, so this would restrict the ability of local governments to issue fines and penalties on to corporations and property owners and to violate local environmental, water quality, public health, public safety, and fair housing nuisance laws and ordinances. So one of the things that's so onerous about this is that currently to pass proper Prop 218, it requires that the fees be covered, that they be reasonable costs. And what this would change it to would amend 218 to require the near impossible standard to predict actual costs. So the way that I interpret this, or the way that it will make it almost undefensible to do a 5-year 218 process anymore, because if you have to collect actual costs, you are going to have a hard time really looking 5 years into the future and being able to judge what you're going to do, and it would open us up to being able to be challenged that we're not doing that. And also another thing in there is that the costs have to be reasonable. Well, a cost for me might not be reasonable compared to a cost for somebody else. You could come and challenge it that, you know, I'm on a fixed income and there's no way that I can, it's unreasonable for me to be expected to pay $15 a month more for my water bill this year than I paid last year. And without any case law to validate this, whether it would happen or not, the potential would be there for people to be able to challenge on that grounds. So I think that the two major impacts of this are the reasonable costs, and then also the actual costs, as opposed to that fees are supposed to cover the cost of the service. Another thing that I'd like to bring up in this is that this is being sponsored by the California Business Roundtable, and some of the contributors to this are Pepsi-Cola, Pacific Ethanol. Where are some of the bigger ones? A couple other ones here. Of course, Howard Jarvis, which is completely understandable that they would, and I expect that would be, but also Enterprise Rental, State Farm Insurance. And I guess those are just so this has got a lot of backing. Now, the status of this right now is that they figure that when for this to be able to be put on the ballot, it takes about $10,000 per signature when it's all said, done, and over with. When you have to get 1.5 million signatures to be able to get it on the ballot, the cost actually is about $10,000 per signature to get them validated, and the time to get people out and do it. And so I think one of the biggest things on our side is the fact that I think time's running out and that they're having a hard time collecting the millions of dollars that they're going to need to be able to actually get this on the ballot. But anyway, all that being said, we have this resolution that was initiated. That's the supporters of this are the California Alliance for Jobs, the California Professional Firefighters, California Special Districts Association, and Cal Cities are all in opposition to this bill. And I don't know if I don't think Aqua is actually
Watch. We have a watch.
a watch on it. Yeah, that's right. Because in the way that actually works is CSDA and Aqua a lot of times will team up on bills, but then other times they'll because this is overarching and it covers way more than just water. They have decided to go with watch, where if it was something that was specifically water, CSDA might actually go with a watch or an opposed one or something lower and let Aqua take the lead on it. So
we had significant discussions at the state legislature meeting a couple of days ago about it.
yeah.
And it was pretty close as to oppose or to watch.
To watch,
Right now.
and they probably
Yeah,
want
they're holding
to,
a
if
watch
it goes
right
anything
now.
like they do at CSDA, they probably said, since it's in such capable hands, they probably.
Well, and we wanted to watch amended, you know, but that's kind of a given. So
Yeah.
those negotiations are still going on. Anyway, but so I wanted to say that I'm an active member and have been for quite a while of Jarvis Scan Group. And I'm very good friends with the president, and we had a lot of discussions about this with him. And for me, I understand some of the motivations, but it's just really draconian and it's not good for us. This bill's not good for us because it really would put just an immense damper on our ability to take care of our critical infrastructures in a real timely manner. And so that's probably my main, agreement with Greg on the position.
Yeah, and I think that ultimately our ability to be able to do business as an enterprise, and then also it would also affect our ability to reassess or to assess future street light and landscaping zones too. So you know, it could have, so it would affect not only our government, our ability with our enterprise, but also our governmental ability also. And also we're looking to do Measure B, and it would definitely have a direct impact on our ability to reassess Measure B. So it's not a good thing, just so that people aren't over alerted by it. Is it doesn't seem like it's got the steam that we thought it was going to have. So I don't know that
if we vote on this before I get back, I vote yes.
Okay.
But anyway, I just want to say that CSDA had put out this resolution. So the staff recommendation is that, and also my recommendation is that the board review the materials provided, ask questions, take public comment, and adopt resolution 2022-10 opposing initiative 21-0042A1 via resolution 2022-10.
A second.
Was that a motion?
Did you just move it? Oh, sorry, I was spacing out. I thought you did.
No, that was
Yeah,
staff
it
recommendation.
sounds really bad. Let's not do it. Yeah.
Huh?
It could have been a motion.
I'll make the motion.
Yeah, it sounds like a motion. to
Oh,
me.
yeah. Okay, I make the motion to pass the, wait, hold on. Sorry, you guys.
As per staff recommendation.
Yeah,
For
just ask-
staff recommendation, thank you.
There you go. And I'll second that.
Okay, I think I just wanted to read one of the bullet points that says restricting local services and infrastructure to the lowest and minimum amount possible will disproportionately impact the most underserved communities the hardest. So, you know, I kind of think pretty much all of Humboldt County could be considered an underserved community. So this will, you know, the bill would impact us more than big, rich areas of the state. So kind of an important thing. So anyway, we're going to do the roll call, and Dennis said he's voting yes on it. So Kathleen told me I had his vote to vote yes.
And I did hear that, yes. Director Bender,
Yes.
Director Clark Peterson. Director Mayo was yes. Director Orsini
Yes.
and President Couch.
Yes. Okay, well, got lots of reading to do here. Item E9, consider adopting resolution 2022-11, 2022-12. Initiate proceedings for the Measure B Maintenance Assessment District renewal for parks, open space, and recreational facilities annual levy and collecting of assessments for fiscal year 2022/2023. Declaring intention to levy and collect the fiscal year 2022/2023 annual assessments for the Measure B Maintenance Assessment District. Renewal for parks, open space, and recreational facilities, accepting and approving the engineer's report and setting the public hearing.
In 1992, McKinleyville voters approved the Measure B Assessment District with a 20-year duration for the purpose of funding the development and maintenance of public recreation facilities, including the McKinleyville Activity Center, Azalea Hall, and Hiller Sports Site. The board authorized collection of the assessments in each year beginning in fiscal year 1992-93. In 2011, a property owner protest ballot proceeding was conducted pursuant to the provisions of the California Constitution, Article 13, for the levy of annual assessments for the Measure B Maintenance Assessment District. Renewal parks, open space, and recreational facilities, which would replace and extend for another 20-year duration the assessments previously approved by the voters in 1992. The proposed assessments were approved by the property owners. 54.9% in favor, 45.1% opposed. And the new assessments were levied on the Humboldt County tax rolls for fiscal year 2011-2012. In accordance with the provisions of the Landscape and Lighting Act of 1972, the board, in addition to conducting a public hearing, must annually adopt a resolution initiating proceedings and a resolution declaring its intention to levy assessments for the upcoming fiscal year. The resolution initiating proceedings describes any proposed new improvements or any substantial changes in existing improvements and orders the engineer to prepare and keep a report. The resolution of intention basically includes the board's approval of the report, either as filed or as modified. Declares the intention of the board to levy and collect assessments within the assessment district for the fiscal year stated in the report, and give notice of the time and place for the public hearing on the levy of the proposed assessment. Staff recommends the board review the information provided, take public comment, and adopt resolutions 2022-11 and 2022-12. The resolution initiating proceeding for the Measure B Maintenance Assessment District. Rule for parks, open space, and recreational facilities annual levy and collection of assessments for fiscal year 2022-23, attachment 1. And a resolution of intention that declares the board's intention to levy and collect the Measure B Maintenance Assessment District renewal for parks, open space, and recreational facilities annual assessments for fiscal year 2022-23, accepts and approves the engineer's report regarding the assessments, and sets the public hearing for May 4th, 2022 in attachment 2.
You're not going to read the engineer's report to us?
All go to sleep. Somebody brought their sleeping bag so that I can.
Okay, we'll bring it back to the board. Do you have any comments?
I have a couple of questions.
Okay.
So doing the worksheets and things like that, so that you typically do when they do the engineer's report, did you have any concerns or any sort of aha moments related to being able to figure out what you're going to get related to the amount the amount that's going to be assessed related to what you're going to need, or was it pretty standard as it's been in the last few years? Or
For this year, I would say it's standard in terms of what Measure B has been covering. Like, there's no real change to what
we are applying the Measure B funding to in terms of what we.
So no
already have.
shifting of in the engineer's report, so everything was pretty standard as
Yes.
opposed to what we've had to do in the past.
Anyone else? Good. Anyone from the public? Okay, let's see. I need a motion.
So moved.
I'll second.
Thank you.
Director Bender, Director Clark Peterson. I'm sorry, I didn't hear her. Director Mayo, Director Orsini,
Yes.
and President Clark. I'm sorry, President Couch.
I answered it.
Still, yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
And can we call you Clark too?
Clark.
All right, item E10, consider support for the McKinleyville Municipal Advisory Committee through the use of Azalea Hall and MCSD's hybrid hardware and staff for their board meetings. Patrick was doing this one.
Dennis, woke everybody up. As the board is aware, the McKinleyville Municipal Advisory Committee, the MCMAC, has been holding their monthly board meetings via Zoom during the pandemic. They are now considering beginning to meet in person again. At their March 23rd board meeting, the MCMAC board decided they would like to begin meeting in person if they could do hybrid meetings to allow those members of the public who do not feel comfortable meeting in person to still attend via Zoom. Prior to the pandemic, the MCMAC would meet at the McKinleyville Middle School Azalea Conference Room, and MCSD staff would assist with reserving that room. The size of that room is not conducive to separation and ventilation and does not have the equipment to allow for a hybrid meeting. MCMAC has also talked to staff at the center, the new home of the Family Resource Center, as well as other county DHHS offices and resource partners. The center also has meeting rooms that they intend to make available for community events such as MCMAC meetings. However, these rooms are not yet available and do not yet have internet access. The use of the center's meeting rooms likely would be a good long-term solution for MCMAC meetings when these rooms become available. As another potential solution, I offered to ask the MCSD board if they would be willing to allow MCMAC the use of Azalea Hall and our hybrid system. As the board is aware, in April of 2021, the MCSD board adopted resolution 2021-07, which states in part, the MCMAC conducts business without any budget and with limited staff support from the county of Humboldt. In any effort to increase support and collaboration, MCSD may provide a small stipend of $3,000 of in-kind services to MCMAC for community meetings and other MCMAC meeting related expenses. This stipend may be budgeted for by MCSD in the fiscal year budget process and provides for in-kind contributions of supplies and district staff / office support. Additionally, MCSD provides meeting space support at the McKinleyville Middle School and letters of support for grants as appropriate and approved by the board. So the in-kind support per month for MCSD to provide the setup and rental fee for a 3-hour MCMAC hybrid meeting at Azalea Hall would be the nonprofit rental fee, which is $50.50 per hour. So assuming 3 hours, that's a total of $151.50. As well as park and rec maintenance staff setup and takedown, assuming 5 hours at an average rate of $45.75 per hour, equals $228.75. So the total in-kind support would be $380.25 per meeting.
Wow.
The direct financial support for one of these meetings would include paying for Joey Blaine at an overtime rate of 1.5 times to provide technical assistance to set up and run a hybrid meeting. So Joey's charges for 4.5 hours, including setup as well as the meeting, at $44.94 per hour times 1.5 is $330.35 per meeting. So the total MCSD support cost per meeting would be $683.60.
600.
68360.
Great.
Sorry.
That's a lot of money
Yep.
for a meeting. Wow.
The pledge support of $3,000 a year would then allow for just over 4 meetings of support for the MCMAC. The pledged in-kind support services were intended to cover copying and other staff support, and the really has not made use of these types of services to date. Your board secretary, April Sousa, is going to be providing Brown Act training to the MCMAC as part of our in-kind support. Wednesday nights are also not typically in demand for Azalea Hall rentals, so staff feels like they would not be foregoing other income by allowing MCMAC to utilize Azalea Hall the 4th Wednesday of the month. So staff recommends the board review the information provided, take public comment, and consider assisting the MCMAC by allowing them to utilize Azalea Hall and the district's hybrid meeting hardware and staff for their board meetings for at least 4 and potentially more board meetings.
Okay, we'll bring it back to the board, Dennis. I see you got.
Does anybody know what size the rooms are at the DHHS are they actually big enough to do this?
At the center, I haven't actually seen them. That is their intent. They do want to have public meetings.
They're that big, Scott?
They are upstairs, it's just huge.
Oh, okay. So, and do we have any idea when that might become available for use?
I don't exactly know. They have a couple different conference room spaces. They have one that is probably twice as big as this is downstairs, twice as big as the Azalea conference room at the middle school. Not quite as big as this room, maybe like half the size of this room.
And then they wouldn't need any of our assistance. They would do it just like they have been running their.
Right, the biggest reason they can't use those right now for hybrid is that they don't have internet there yet.
Oh, okay.
Just
That's
setting that up. I
So
think,
when they get internet there, they could do all of that. They wouldn't need us. Is that right?
they might need Joey to help them set up a system like this. I really don't.
They've been running Zooms right now, so I don't know why they.
Well, the
couldn't.
county runs Zooms, but they have Access Humboldt does all their work for them. They don't have.
Those Zooms that we're doing right now are not through,
The Zooms the county's doing?
the MCMAC meetings that we've been doing have been run through, what's her name? So
Oh, that's just Zoom. That's not hybrid.
wouldn't that be, I mean, that, I don't understand why you can't.
You gotta have all this stuff.
So this is run through Zoom, but in order to have people, like multiple people present, like in person, and then have people also on Zoom, like it takes all of these other things. When everybody's just on Zoom, it just takes everybody to have it one computer.
Okay, and I'll shut up because I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. Doesn't make sense to me, but okay. Sorry. Never mind.
Hybrid's harder.
Yeah, the hybrid's way harder because you gotta integrate all this stuff
Okay.
with what's going on online.
So let me ask one more dummy question. Could you set that up for them in 1 or 2 meetings so they could do it without us having to throw a bunch of more money at it?
Depends on. I don't know if there's a good way to put this. It depends on if they have someone as good
Committed.
as good as me. And I don't mean that in like a conceited way, but like if they have someone that's,
Well, it really came off that way.
yeah, oh yeah,
No.
that's technically minded enough that they can understand how this works.
All right.
I can totally train
All
someone.
right, so it would be important for us to get that. Because I sat in on that meeting when this was, and I thought, oh, it ought to be easy. And most of the people, I think that, correct me if I'm wrong, but I got the impression that most of the people in the MCMAC meeting thought it would be real easy for us to do it and it wouldn't be a big deal. It's looking like it's a financial big deal for us. And maybe that information needs to get to the MCMAC, that it's not as simple or economical as they think.
I'll do whatever the board wants me to do.
Pepperoni pizza, was that the suggestion?
No ice cream.
Oh, ice cream.
So can I,
Go ahead.
through chair, yeah, I figured as much when I saw how much it was gonna cost, to do this. I'm definitely not willing to go beyond the $3,000. We've already decided $3,000 is the max. Once we hit $3,000, my opinion is that they need, by that time, they need to have figured something else out. I don't mind helping the county out. Because we're helping the county out, we're not helping the McMac out. It's to the benefit of the people in McKinleyville and to the McMac. But we're basically relieving the county of their responsibility to be able, for us to be able to have those McMac meetings. So I think as long as we don't go below that or above that $3,000 per budget year, I'm supportive of this, as long as the McMac understands that this is not going to be permanent and that it's just a stopgap until they can find a way. Because ultimately, if the McMac can't pull off having hybrid meetings, the McMac just needs to go back to having normal meetings. That's all.
Either that
there
or
is
go
to
back to Zoom.
or go back to Zoom 100%.
Was my impression that the Zoom meetings were relatively successful
They have been, there's been absolutely nothing the matter with the Zoom meetings.
and more productive than the in-person meetings, was kind of my feeling.
Well, until the last meeting, they're way more controllable.
Well, I think they're going to somebody's just going to have to take control of that.
Well, yeah.
You know, if you're running the meeting,
People are
you're going to have to run the
more
meeting.
used to Zoom now, whereas at the beginning, everybody is hesitant to change or learn new things.
Right.
So people are just used to it now and are able to conduct business better.
The thing though that we were talking about, the last meeting not being as productive, that was simply a function of not having the surety of how to deal with certain things coming up in the meeting.
And can I ask Pat, so, and I should know this and I don't, how long is the governor's executive order going to last for being able to do the Zoom meetings? Have you heard anything on that?
Well, so we have to, pass that resolution every time now. I haven't heard anything.
Haven't heard when they're gonna pull the plug on that?
No.
Well, there's actually, and I can't remember the name of it, I'm terrible at remembering the names of the legislation, but there's actually a bill in committee right now that would allow this to run in perpetuity, but I don't know if it's gonna make it out of committee to basically legislate hybrid meetings. But there's some real sticking points related to allowing elected and appointed officials participate remotely. Outside the district, not participate remotely, because if they were at their computer at home, it would be one thing, but there's some real sticking points related to the whole remote thing, and we've been pretty strenuous. In fact, I just have a whole list of things that we're going to request for amendments to that bill that would make it really hard to satisfy the board members or elected or appointed officials being able to participate from outside the district. So anyway, that's my 2 cents. I'm fully in support of giving them the whatever they're going to get out of this. What was that again? 3 meetings,
$3,000.
$3,000, and what was that? 4 meetings or something like that?
4 meetings will come under the $3,000
Yeah.
So
How often do they meet?
monthly. Well, typically monthly.
Yeah, but we've been meeting twice a month, some months,
Right.
to get, but that's just to get the ordinance, the town center ordinance.
So do we need to have this include anything about these hybrid meetings, or should we just codify the fact that we're going to do this much money?
You have codified the fact that we're going to do $3,000.
Okay, so this is
No, this would just be directing us to use that $3,000 for specific thing.
I'm not real comfortable with that. I think that money is there's a lot of other things we need that they need to make this thing run right for that money. Copying and you know, a lot of stuff. So I'm not saying I'm a no, but I think this limits.
Yeah, they really haven't made use. I know when this board was talking about, you know, allowing them to come in and make copies and utilize staff to make copies for them and stuff, and they really haven't been utilizing staff or making those copies or anything. So we haven't spent anywhere near that $3,000 since you have proved that.
But we have spent some of it already.
Yeah, and I haven't calculated what that is, but I would say it was more on the hundreds of dollars worth.
Okay.
Well, as I say, I would, you know, support spending the money that we have in the budget on this as a.
Well, the money that's left in the budget or the money that.
Either way, since we don't know exactly what's left.
AB 339.
It's AB
339.
Yes, yes, it is.
Anyway, I just, you know, want to try to support the McMack because we were kind of instrumental in getting it set up.
Wait a minute. Not kind of instrumental.
Well, I'm being gentle.
State it
Dennis.
right. State it
I'm being
right.
gentle.
No. The MAC exists because of
Because of the
this
settlement agreement.
board's dedication to make it happen.
Yeah,
Not kind of.
yeah.
And I'll go whatever way the board wants. So I just like, you know. Turned out, that's all.
So anyway, want to make a motion? Want to didn't bring it to the public? Public comment?
Yeah, do you want to, there's two people.
Any of our online people want to comment? Okay.
I see April making no movement. So the answer is no.
Well, it is,
So let me, because I don't want to make the motion per staff recommendation. Well, I'll make a motion that, that we allow the McMack to utilize Azalea Hall, and our staff, to conduct the meetings. That includes our hardware, up to the $3,000 that we've allotted, so that basically everything that's in the motion right now, and except for stop at at least 4 and until the $3,000 is gone.
I'll second that.
All right, I got it. Are you ready?
That's if we get ice cream.
Okay. Ice cream.
chocolate syrup. Okay.
All right.
I think
Do you
we're
want,
ready.
do you want the roll call vote? I did just see just now Bonnie Oliver did come online, so I don't know if she has any.
Well, Bonnie would like to comment. We would welcome a comment from her.
Supervisor Madrone has his hand up now.
Okay.
Yeah, good evening, board. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Thank you very much. I just wanted to thank the CSD for, as was pointed out, helping to literally originate, push for, help create, and has continued to support the MCMAC. So I just want to thank you for all of those years of trying to make that happen. And now with your action tonight, continuing to support the partnership. So just wanted to thank you from my heart for all that hard work.
Welcome. Yep. Thank you.
And Bonnie Oliver does have her hand raised now.
Go ahead, Bonnie.
Hello. So I just.
Oops, sorry.
There. Can you hear me now? Okay. All right.
You're back.
I gather that you've moved to help us through our first hybrid meeting, and I want to express my thanks. It's been hard to balance the folks that want to have face-to-face meetings and those who aren't comfortable with this, and your help in making this happen is invaluable. It wouldn't happen without your assistance. So I appreciate it, and I'm hopeful that that it will help meet the needs of the community, and hopefully initiate a great and positive meeting at the end of the month. So thanks again.
And Bonnie, I'm gonna chime in because I think you might have missed it. The board is willing to allow for the use of the $3,000 that they had previously approved for assisting the MCMAC. So that covers 4 meetings, basically.
4 meetings. Okay. All right. We'll keep that in mind. I probably will be getting a hold of you as far as how to set up the invitation and things like that prior to having to send out an agenda. So, you can help me through that. That would be great. And April will be our special guest at the beginning of that meeting. So, yeah. All right. Well, thanks again for your support of the MCMAC and this effort.
Thank you. Let's see. We had, I believe, a motion.
Motion and a second.
A second. So let's do the roll call.
Roll call. All right, Director Bender.
Aye.
Director Clark Peterson. Director Mayo.
Yes.
And Director Orsini.
Yes.
And President Cox.
Yes. Okay,
Go ahead and go without me.
Cheney votes no.
We don't have to vote on it. We're done with voting.
Come on, you guys. What you do to me and you don't do it to him, it's not fair.
All right, F, reports. No specific action is required on these items, but the board may discuss any particular item as required. So we have F1, active committee reports. And starting with the Parks and Recreation Committee.
That would be me. And as usual, Director Frisbee has done her usual stellar job writing her report that she'll talk about here in a minute. I have nothing to add.
Okay. Ready for the area fund report.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No report. Redwood Region Economic Development Commission.
Nothing to report.
Oh, you know what? I wanted to make a comment on the area fund. I apologize. John Colstead sent me an application for the McKinleyville Rodeo Association Arena, and we're putting an application in for some much needed infrastructure work there. And our 503 C1, or what is it, 503(1)? C?
501.
501 to
Yeah.
C3.
Is lapsed, and we're working on it, and with the deadline at the state is so backed up, we may not be able to get it to get our application in on the 30th. So if anybody, that's one of the things I was gonna ask you about. If anybody might have some suggestions for me of a 501(3)(C that would, C3, that would be able to facilitate being an umbrella for us, that would be very, very helpful. We in really bad shape in terms of our funds, because during COVID, we didn't have any ropies or gymkhanas or anything, and that's how we generate all of our, money for our maintenance and everything. Anyway.
Actually have D, the McKinleyville Senior Center Board. Liaison.
Okay, as I reported last month, the Senior Center Board convened a search committee to seek out a new executive director. And they formulated some requirements. They did some advertising. They received at least one other application. I did put my name in. As of their meeting on this Monday, I was selected to lead up the organization. So I'm the new executive director at the Senior Center. We'll see how that goes.
I think that's, I think that was a good fit. Right on. And I do have a technical question that we need to think about. Now that you are the director, do we need to appoint a different representative? I don't know the answer to that.
Yeah, and I have an opinion on that, and staff has talked about it. Since the MCSD board committee member is just a liaison, they are not a voting member of the Senior Center.
Beautiful.
Board.
Beautiful.
Staff didn't see any conflict with.
No.
Beautiful.
No, there's no conflict in Appendix A of the board policy manual at all.
No, I don't think.
Yeah,
there's
I
gonna
didn't
be-
think there was, but
Yeah.
but that's beautiful.
The only way I could foresee a conflict would be is if we're voting on appropriations or something like that, that would have a monetary benefit to the to the senior center, but other than that, I don't. Go see you having to recuse yourself.
Yeah, well, I know when to abstain or not.
Very good. And not only congratulations, but thank you for
really
stepping into that.
They've needed.
It was needed, Scott. It was really needed. Yeah. So it's going to be good for the community.
They're gonna, I think they'll really thrive under your leadership. They've needed it. for a
Now
while.
let's get that
Yeah,
food.
well, they helped my mom out a lot. Now it's time for me to get back to them. So that's how it works.
Let's get that senior food delivery developed.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's been my, I've been pissing and moaning about that ever since I've been here. Anyway. Wait a minute, could have I said that a little more delicately? Sorry.
Get late. Next, audit committee report.
We did not meet.
We did not meet. The employee negotiations, we did not meet, but we did have a big agenda item tonight. that Summed up the employee negotiations, I believe. The McKinleyville Municipal Advisory Committee.
We talked about, we continued to work on the, we're working on the ordinance still?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they brought back, that's right, so at a future meeting, at the meeting before that, Pat had made a, GM Kaspari had made a motion for them to combine two of the different concepts for the ordinance together and then bring them back in language. And we went through I think we went through about the first half of it and had some pretty heated discussions. And so we've got about another half of it left to do. But I would expect that we should have a recommendation probably by I'd say by the time the May meeting, we should have a recommendation for him, if not sooner than that. Anything else?
The Humboldt Local Agency Formation, that's me. So our last meeting, the big thing was talking about the Riverside Community Service District, which I'd never heard of before, which is kind of between Ferndale and the ocean.
Yeah.
And it's got maybe 45 people at services, but it's a big geographic area. And I was thinking, you know, Dennis, you and John used to be involved with the groundwater stuff.
Yeah.
They just have one big well.
Yeah.
So I was thinking, you know, those are the guys that really, you know, will be impacted.
They got a big cistern.
Yeah,
that-
big
that-
system.
and that can get impacted very easily. The history that nobody gives a damn about, but I'm going to share. My grandfather owned the place up the Wildcat for many years. Daryl Blosick now lives there, but we had a cistern there, spring-fed cistern that we supplied the water to Ferndale for a long time. But that's what's the Ferndale, not for this part.
There's some fairly significant legislation going on for LAFCO right now too. So it's going to have a fairly large impact on mixing the, you know, taking districts or dissolution of special districts, and also merging special districts.
Although, so I remember, it's non-performing special districts. So it's kind of like,
Yeah.
if you have a special district.
Well, it's non-performing, it covers
Yeah.
covers a huge range of things, up and including accusations of malfeasance and.
Right.
An inability to have the finances to take care of environmental issues and things like that. I mean, it's pretty.
Yeah, it's pretty all encompassing. The bad part about that is then they get forced on merging with another district that most probably is well run, and will end up losing its, you know, we'll have to then take them in.
Right.
That's the bad part about it.
We had the meeting, we thought, I had a presentation that I attended about that. There was like a special district somewhere in central southern Los Angeles that just did drinking water. It had a couple of like red and brown water to everybody, and everybody got them dissolved, and then the Los Angeles Water Department took it over. So
Yeah, and then the Los Angeles Water Department ended up having to foot the bill to get them into compliance.
I remember right, there was 38 identified that were in that kind of similar place, and some of them actually functioning well, but the way that the thing is set up, they wanted to take them over as well. Absorb. I think, isn't that the right term, absorb, that they use?
Yeah, I think so.
well, I don't think the agencies that are absorbing want to do it, but somebody wants it to happen then. So. Okay, let's see. Environmental Matters Committee, we didn't meet. Ad hoc Committee, Community Forest.
Had a meeting.
Yeah, we had a meeting and then a field trip. Went and looked at some of the went and looked at the potential accesses off of out of the district onto the forest property. I think we came up with some pretty good ideas about where, you know, what we'll be able to direct staff to then go back and negotiate with, or at least have discussions with Green Diamond about. So we still have to go tour the most southern access, since there was an electric gate put across the Green Diamond properties main access.
Yeah, for the areas that we went to, there obviously was some debris, but I was surprised it wasn't as bad as I had expected
Yeah.
in terms of totality
Yeah.
of, or volume of trash and that kind of thing.
I agree. I was pleasantly surprised that, as far in as we walked, that we didn't see more impact from,
Now,
from
we
house.
might, when we get further up, who knows?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, if you get it, yeah, if you
Who
get further
knows
in,
what-
but
so
it
far.
might even be off of our property and we're back onto. I think one of the things that we talked about staff about, and I think that maybe finding a place to put a parking lot in and this is my opinion and probably what I'll really encourage is that we find a place that we can put one spot, one place where you would park and have restrooms, but have multiple accesses to that one spot. Once the places are developed, so it would save us from having to have three different, or 4 or 5 different places where you would have bathrooms and parking.
I get what you're saying and kind of agree, except I think we'll have to do 2 of those. Because the Fieldbrook Road access is so far away from this, and I think that would have to do 2 of them. But
No, yeah, I agree. I think we're gonna end up with needing 3 of them all together, but I think that center one, we could probably leverage some pretty good access to that center one from a couple of different ways to get in there. And I think that would be great, especially from when they develop those subdivisions, we're able to, after that land's converted and they're developed into subdivisions, we're able to.
One of the beautiful things about this, and you just kind of alluded to, is we don't have to build the whole pyramid right now. We can do what is judicious and affordable for us, and then as those other developments go on in years future, then we can off of that get some, get some more help.
Necessary.
Yeah.
All right, legislative and regulatory reports.
Intermingled mine with the regular board.
Okay.
The ones I wanted to talk about.
Dennis, did you have it?
Well, no, I think we covered them. I have a few things. But I'm not sure that they're legislative. I'll wait till board member reports.
Okay, and we'll move on to staff reports. Colleen?
I would like to give the board just a little bit of official update on an issue that has been of importance and concern. We went ahead and got through our first official block since the start of the pandemic. So it was 2 years exactly. So our first real lock day, we got through it, and it was actually surprisingly ordinary. We started with a list of 184 notifications. That's pretty ordinary. We ended up blocking only about, 30, 40 customers? It was less than 30. So yeah, there were a couple of abandonments of service. Those have been closed out and forwarded to collections. Almost all the customers have contacted us to either make a payment or arrange amortization. That extended 24-month amortization schedule that the board approved previously was only needed in a very few cases, but in the cases it was needed, I was really glad to have that in the arsenal, because it was really helpful to the people who really needed it.
Good.
Several customers have been referred to the Family Resource Center for funding assistance. They apparently they have some funds available, so we've been sending people over to them. The state's low-income household water assistance program is now scheduled to be opened in May. This plan is supposed to be structured to provide a one-time payment for customers, which is to be applied to their pandemic balances. The program requires the participation of both the end consumer and the utility provider. So the district, have us signed up like the first day registration is open. And so once the state provides a flyer with the information, they will be able to provide that to interested customers so that they can sign up. That's been contacted by the Lakewood Community Action Agency. They were checking to see if we had signed up. Yes, we can do it. But they haven't geared up for helping customers and users sign up for it yet. We suggested that they have a conversation about that because that's going to be where the meat will fall.
Yeah.
Anyway, but that was it. We expect April's lock day to be much a bit smaller. But the board has followed this really closely because the pandemic had the potential to have real negative impact on quite a few people. And it ended up not, I'm not saying that the impacts weren't severe, but for the most part, most of McKinleyville was not severely hit with huge water bills. There were only a few, and we were able to help them with the tools that you guys put at our disposal. So 2 thumbs up, and it looks like we're back in business. And just want to let you know that nothing else to add to my report. And next.
Yep.
So anyway, yeah,
Got a comment.
I just want to, I think that, that goes a long way. Or I think that staff's keeping, communications with those people throughout this whole thing, help them prioritize and keep it in the forefront, because I know in the housing right now, there's a lot of people that didn't pay rent for that whole thing. And there are there's going to be a lot of landlords and a lot of people that are going to have a hard way to go because they weren't on. So I just want to give kudos to staff for having the continuing communications that they've had with our water customers and letting them know that, being participating in what they were going through, but also kind of in a roundabout way, communicating them how important it was to not get underwater, which is something that United Communications about is, my thing was, when this first started, it was, oh my God, these people are going to get themselves in a situation that they'll never get out of. And I think that staff has devised a way to help people be able to pay what they could. And so they didn't end up in a hopeless situation when the COVID dust cleared. So thanks a lot to staff.
We'll pass that along tomorrow, for sure. Thanks.
Yeah, especially you, James.
Thank you.
Okay, well, James volunteering, he's next.
I have nothing further to add.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Really? Nothing to say?
Nothing nice to say.
Parks and Recreation, Leslie.
I just want to say we're hiring, so if you know young people who are looking for a job, we are hiring for our summer programs and all of our rec programs, and please pass the word. And if you are on Facebook, share the posts about us hiring because it's really hard to get applicants. And since James didn't add it, I will let you know that the ops department is hiring for a full-time utility maintenance worker position, which is an excellent job and excellent benefits.
He said something earlier about
Earlier, I did. Thank you.
And so, but I have one. That was
It's
pretty.
really hard to find people to hire right now.
That was kind of discriminatory. Only young people. What about us old people that might want a job?
Oh, right. I apologize. We are open to all ages, people who want to work with kids.
Good.
High school.
Not that I want to work with kids.
Yes, high school, college, retired. If you got energy and want to tolerance for the inanity of children, please apply.
See, nothing to add at this time.
No. But I got all the airtime. I wasn't advertised.
I had something that I wanted to ask you. And so I keep doing it at the end. I'll do this one up there. What's going on with, there's gonna be, the Clydesdales are gonna be here and, like Saturday, is that in the park? Or what's that all about?
No, that's not, we have to mark the sprinklers if that's the case.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, there's,
I heard
it's on the
something about
radio.
it, too.
It's not the Budweiser Clydesdales, but I think it's the Dawsons and their Clydesdale.
Oh,
I wonder what, is that part of it? I mean, is that,
there's a rental this weekend.
yeah,
At Isaiah Hall, somebody's rented Isaiah, and Mr. Doss is participating. He wants to speak to his event that's happening here. He's rented the hall in the park.
is he online?
I believe he is.
Oh, okay, all right, I didn't know.
But yeah, I mean,
But I-
people
but I
in
had
our
several-
facilities, we don't always like know exactly what they're doing. 'Cause we don't.
Gotcha.
Sorry-
I had a
sorry,
whole
I
bunch
have
of
no
people-
idea, But we take the reservation, we take the money.
Right.
That's about it.
You won't know that there were horses here until Monday morning. And there's like,
Yeah, well, I had a whole bunch of people text me going, hey, what's going on with you? I said, I don't know.
Apparently there's gonna be a crowd there. Sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah, cool. Well, maybe I'll bring my new buggy horse down.
Right.
Yeah, if they're gonna say anything about the thing, that'd be fine. She know how to,
Mr. Doss, do you want to speak about your event that's happening this Saturday?
He doesn't have his hand up. Now he does.
Figure out how to use it.
I see that. Okay. Pretty high tech. Hey, we have a craft fair that's going to be there at Azalea Hall, and we are bringing a couple Clydesdales in the parking lot to take photo opportunities for folks. But we'll have the whole Clydesdale team there for Pony Express, the Pony Express parade in June. Like a photo with a Clydesdale, we'll have them all prettied up for you on.
okay, cool. Well, you answered that. I'll have to send a few texts out when I get home.
Great. Looking forward to seeing you.
are you gonna put your horse and buggy in the?
I hope so, if I don't keep getting crippled up. Shit, I haven't been able to harness, I haven't been able to hook it up to the buggy since I got him.
Oh, really?
I can barely walk.
I know.
I'm happy about it.
We're ready for the general manager's
I have nothing
staff
further to
report.
add.
Thank God.
So the president's
Everybody, all these
report.
people talking to them.
Well, I do have a little story to tell everybody. So Dennis, you were around, but when they built the new bridge over the Mad River,
Yep.
NCSD put a pipe in it.
Yep.
Which sat there for years and years. And what's her name, who retired from Humboldt Bay Water?
Carol Reese.
Carol Reese got a grant to connect that to Arcata's water system. So we have what we call the intertie system. And so we can have Arcata and McKinleyville's water system joined together. And the main reason for that was because McKinleyville's only got one pipe that goes under the Mad River, and that pipe got taken out in the wintertime. It'd be bad. And so when they put in the bridge, we thought, we'd put a pipe in there. So anyway, it's been there, and Arcata fluoridates their water, so we haven't ever really been able to test it because it would be opening a valve in Arcata and sending Arcata water up and pumping it up with McKinleyville, and we never wanted to do that because McKinleyville people would be up in arms.
But we did test it. We did test it your way.
Yeah, but we tested it the other way a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, did you guys? Oh,
So
cool.
And we had figured that if it was.
Eric,
I was in Arizona.
You're in Arizona. So you don't have to
I've been-
go.
Well, we had this time window because we had our fluoride system down, and so
Okay.
our water was.
So we finally were able to run water. We've run water both ways.
We ran water both ways and ran a pump, and you know, we were able to supply it, and I didn't hear of any problems in McKinleyville, and we didn't have any problems.
Pat, you were involved, weren't you involved? in
Yeah.
designing that?
Yep, got the grant, did the design.
And.
Which
and
wouldn't
we
be able to do
all-
anymore.
I think we all understood that in case of a natural disaster, I mean, a terrible disaster of some kind, that having water with or without a little fluoride in it was going to be better than having no water.
Yeah, than having no water at all.
So,
I think we agreed we'd shut the fluoridation if that ever came to be.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, let's
We
get a little.
So did you guys ever,
Yes, about 3 weeks ago.
oh, cool, so we finally got the SOP back, or, all right, cool.
Yeah, so just got that SOP back, we did it.
Cool. Well, that's good news.
Yeah, that's awesome, because the way that'll work is with some manipulation. Arcata can supply us water, and we can supply Arcata water.
Kind of.
Because that area is kind of, that area down there would be pretty isolated for you guys, wouldn't it? If,
Could be.
yeah, it could be.
Should be. Well, I mean, we got Humboldt Bay's main line comes through there.
Yeah, that's true.
So we're not too isolated,
Yeah,
but,
not
but
anymore.
we never had a tap into that line, so the project. paid for that. And
Yeah, at Alder Grove.
Alder Grove Energy Station. Anyway, we just wanted, we had this opportunity, I thought, well, we ought to test this, just.
Yeah. But it worked the way Pat designed it.
Joey, did you have? Oh, go ahead. Thank you. Supervisor Madrone, did you want to comment?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Speaking of the Hammond Trail Bridge, there is a press conference scheduled this Friday at 2:30 with Congressman Huffman coming to town to do a media event around the fact that Humboldt County got a $5.2 million grant to replace that structure. And I know we'll be working directly with Pat and your team there in regards to pipelines and all the other current and or future things that any new bridge will need to be able to carry. So it's great news for the community, for that trail, for the bridge. So we really appreciate Congressman Huffman's work on that. And if you can make it down at 2:30 on Friday at the bridge, please, just want to let you all know about that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Dennis?
Yeah, if memory serves, I think it was the congressman's first year in office when we had the original meeting down there with everybody about putting this process in motion. The grist mill grinds slow, but fine. Finally, it ground fine enough that we're a good deal. And this is a really, really good deal.
Yeah, the county's had these plans for this, for the replacement of the Hammond Bridge for a long time.
Yeah.
I'm glad to see they finally were able to dust them off and get some money for us. Speaking of that, is there anything that we need to do as a board related to the pipeline in the
bridge?
In the bridge?
In the Hammond Bridge?
Yeah.
You know, as Supervisor Madrone mentioned, we have reached out to county staff. And told them we would like to keep that bridge in service. County staff said, yes, they agree and realize it's there and they will work with us.
Work with us. I'm sure we'll have to pay for it. I'm sure they didn't put any money in the budget to replace it for us. Are
They
you guys
have not
talking?
offered up any money.
They've not offered up any money. Okay. And we're fine. We can, you know, it should show up in our, are we gonna try to get some grant funds for that or are you just gonna use reserves or?
Yeah. I don't know what their timeline is for actually doing the construction. It's possible we can get some grant funds. Time to do that.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, but I think it's very important that we keep that, even though we're not using that pipe right now, that we keep that because would allow us to be able to irrigate on the other side of the river.
Are you gonna go, Pat? Down there? I'm gonna go. Anybody else gonna go?
I'll be in Sacramento to CSDA meeting.
I remember, I'll go.
Go here.
Yeah. Yeah, go where? Yeah. I would just like to maybe have a little consensus if we go down. If we're asked to say anything, we just want to say, thank you, and we support it, and it's good for the community.
Well, yeah, the only reason
Something
that
like
Congressman Huffman's coming so that we can thank him. So,
Yeah. Yeah, well, I just wanted, I mean, ditto, but I mean, it's important that things like that we have board consensus on what we're gonna say.
Yeah.
That's all.
Okay, and it's at the foot of the Hammond
Yep.
Bridge there.
On the Fisher.
Boy,
Fisher.
parking.
On the Fisher side or?
From
on
Rogers
the-
Market, head down Fisher,
Yeah,
right
parking
down.
is
No, parking's gonna be terrible.
Oh,
yeah.
there'll be plenty of parking. Don't worry about it. We can cut. We can cut
the MCSD fence.
Bruno doesn't
Yeah,
own the
I'll
property.
throw a
We can cut the
four-wheel
fence
drive
now
out
and
the
go in.
park out there.
We're gonna sell parking.
There you go.
That's a good idea.
James will have 2 flags and he'll be out there for $5.
Rent out Joellen's place and just park cars in the yard.
Oh.
Hey, I guarantee you, when I go to Sacramento to event, I have to pay for parking. So, anyway,
Take a
I can remember the
bridge.
existing bridge
I'll be
being
in
on
Sacramento.
Oh,
the
that's
board
right.
agenda a few times, like long time ago, because the bridge has lead paint on it.
Yep.
So the cost to repaint it was more expensive than the bridge was worth. So
Yeah.
that's why we're getting a new bridge, because the old bridge, it was just like
Yeah. to repair-
billions of
yeah.
dollars, because they were gonna have to cocoon it in plastic and take the
Oh,
old
yeah,
paint
it
off.
was, yeah,
and-
it was funny.
So they just didn't do anything, and now they're gonna build a new bridge.
I think Scott's probably too young, but I rode across that bridge on the train quite a few times many years ago.
Yeah.
Well, look
I
at-
lived a little too far north anyway. I'm Clam Beach area. as well.
No, it went all the way. Up there. We hopped on it.
Okay, well, I played on the trestle and everything back behind golf course.
Yeah, no, I'm talking about the track, the Hammond Trail track.
No, I don't remember.
Use your gavel if you want.
Pre-grading,
That wasn't my stomping ground.
pre-grading on the highway. You're like in the mid-50s.
Nicole, what kind of fun we have.
Yeah.
Dave, I got something.
Okay, no, that's, we have board
She's like,
member
"Oh my
comments,
God, I can't
announcements,
believe I'm
reports, and
got
agenda
myself."
items. We're ready.
Okay, so I asked about a couple of the things, Leslie, and will you maybe give me a text or a jingle tomorrow on that one other thing? Forgot already. I remember.
Oh, the nonprofit.
Yes,
thing?
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. So
I made a note.
I went to the recycling center, the Hambro Recycling Center today. And I just wanted to give a report to everybody, and hopefully if the press is listening or will read those, they are doing an excellent job. I mean, it is amazing how, they're, everybody there's working hard, Johnny on the spot, taking care of things. They're watching the road, they're keeping the traffic flowing properly. I mean, they're really doing a great job. So I just wanted to commend them for that. They have jobs available too. They're hiring and they pay good. And it's work. It's not a stand around with the hand in your pocket deal. It's a stay busy operation.
After you touch the garbage, you wouldn't want to put your hands in your pocket.
Yeah, it was reported that they're intentionally overstaffed for the first 2 or 3 weeks in order to get that big rush done with and settle into routine.
They're doing a good job. Yeah, they're doing a great job. Okay, and also I went to the first of, or I think it was the first of the Caltrans community working group on trails. There's a proper name for it. Pat, do you remember what that proper name is?
It's the multimodal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And I found it to be pretty interesting, and they had their mapping and stuff, and I spent quite a bit of time with the engineer from Caltrans. And I think there's some real potential to solve our problems from Bartow over Bella Vista, connecting to the trail on the east side of the bridge that's at the end of Wymore. I think that would really, I think it's gonna be a really, really good addition to McKinleyville and solve a lot of problems. The two, and that's because it's a two-way bike path together. So, you know, like on the right-hand side of the road, both lanes are together, the bikes. I don't think it's a good plan for Central Avenue particularly, or other places, but on Hiller and School and Bates, and then from the city center up Gwen, maybe to our potential entrance into the community forest. So I see a lot of really, really good, good.
Of running the bikes in lanes, just like you do cars,
No,
going in two
no.
different directions.
Yeah, but just in one side,
Right,
all
yeah.
the bikes will be on this one,
Right,
yeah. And it looked good and it worked, and so the problems that we have from Bartow south, you just can't have bikes on both sides of the road, and you just can't have them on the west side, and it just isn't gonna work. There's gonna be some engineering, and we talked to the engineer, the project guy that's running this. This is a grant funded by, help me again,
It's Caltrans.
Caltrans grant. And it's gonna be potentially a really good.
You know, where the McKinleyville, the horses have the right of way sign, is that
Yep.
right? Well, just to the north of that, there's a sewer main that comes down that hill. And I don't know how deep they're gonna be able to cut in that hillside if they need to go in that hillside.
Well, it's all of that stuff is simply a matter of design and engineering and money. And if Caltrans is gonna pay for it down.
Well, I'm
the
just
line-
saying there might be a pipe, one of our sewer pipes that might need to be moved.
Oh, yeah, well,
If they cut too far,
I'm
if
sure
they go
there's.
cut too far to the east.
I'm sure there's quite a bit of thing. I mean, it's not anywhere near an interchange or a clover leaf.
Yeah.
Okay. It's fundable, and it's, so anyway, I was very excited about it. I've been talking to a lot of people, and a lot of us have been looking at the thing and at possibilities. And after looking at this, and I'm gonna meet with that engineer and walk it too. And it's not gonna happen this year or next year. We're looking 5, 6, 8, perhaps even 10 years down the line. But it's a needed addition to our entrance into McKinleyville. So I just wanted to bring that up, and I think that's all of my BS for tonight.
Good, finally.
Okay. No one else had anything BS.